Hey guys, welcome to SkillLink. In our everyday life, we come across appliances which use energy. One of such appliances is the light bulb. Thanks to these light bulbs, every home has light during the night. However, there are several types of energy that you might be aware of. Well, we're going to discuss the different types of energy today. Let's start with the concept of kinetic and potential energy. Kinetic energy is the energy acquired by a body due to its motion, while potential energy is the energy stored in a body due to its position with respect to other objects, internal stresses, and other factors. But these are not the only types of energy. There is energy which is generated due to heat, nuclear fission, chemical reactions, and much more. In today's video, we are going to focus on these types of energy. These types of energy are thermal or heat energy, chemical energy, nuclear energy, electrical energy, radiant energy, light energy, motion energy, sound energy, elastic energy, and gravitational energy. Let's begin with thermal energy. In simple words, thermal energy is the energy produced due to an increase in temperature. But how exactly does this rise in temperature generate energy? Well, the answer is very simple. As we know, matter consists of atoms and molecules which keep moving all the time. When matter is heated, the rise in temperature causes these atoms and molecules to move faster and collide with each other. Due to these collisions, an energy is generated. This energy is known as thermal energy. It must be noted that the hotter a substance is, the more interatomic collisions will take place and hence more thermal energy will be generated. Our next topic is chemical energy. As we know, chemical compounds are formed with atoms and molecules which are bonded with each other. These interatomic and intermolecular bondings store an energy known as chemical energy. When a chemical reaction occurs, the chemical bonds break and the stored chemical energy is released. Sometimes, heat is released during the chemical reactions as a side product. Such reactions which release heat are called exothermic reactions. It must be understood that chemical energy is the most important type of energy for the existence of humans and the world. The wood that we burn, the food that we eat, all of them consist of chemical bondings which store chemical energy. Now let's talk about our third type of energy, which is nuclear energy. As we know, every object in the universe is built by particles known as atoms. These atoms consist of a small, dense region at their center known as the nucleus. The energy stored within this nucleus is known as nuclear energy. There are two ways in which this energy is released from the atom, which are nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. In nuclear fusion, the nuclei of several atoms fuse together, releasing a massive amount of nuclear energy during the process. On the other hand, in nuclear fission, the nuclei of atoms split and release the energy stored within them. It must be noted that nuclear power plants use nuclear fission for generating electricity, while nuclear fusion is used to produce energy by the sun. Speaking of energy produced by the sun, let's move on to radiant energy. This is the type of energy which is possessed by electromagnetic waves. But how do these waves possess radiant energy? Well, the answer is simple. The electromagnetic waves or radiations consist of tiny particles known as photons. These photons are nothing but little packets of radiant energy. The energy that we obtain from the sun is radiant energy. This energy is transmitted to the earth as light energy, which is a form of radiant energy. When the temperature of an object rises, the movement of atoms produce photons. As the temperature increases further, these photons become heated and hence light energy is generated. It must be noted that light energy travels as waves, and there's nothing which travels as fast as these waves. Now let's move on to the next type of energy, which is electrical energy. Being a form of kinetic energy, it is the energy which is generated due to the movement of electric charges. How much electrical energy is generated depends solely on the speed with which electrical charges are moving. The higher their speed is, the higher amount of electrical energy they produce. Earlier, we mentioned what are kinetic and potential energies. The sum of kinetic and potential energy is known as motion energy. No, it's supposed to be the other way around. Motion energy is the sum of kinetic and potential energy, also termed as mechanical energy, that is the energy stored in moving objects. Let's understand motion energy with the help of an example. When we hold a hammer in our hand, it has some potential energy stored in it, but no kinetic energy. When we apply a force to move this hammer and hit the nail with it, kinetic energy is generated. The sum of this kinetic and potential energy is motion energy, which results in the work being done. Now, let's move on to our next topic, sound energy. As we know, when we apply a force on an object, it generates vibrations in the object. Due to these vibrations, energy is produced in the object, which is known as sound energy. This sound energy is transmitted in the form of waves, which are called sound waves. Most of us are familiar with the concept of elasticity and elastic objects, right? Did you know that elastic objects also possess a special type of energy? Well, you'll find it out now. When we apply a force on an elastic object, a deformation is caused in the object. Due to this deformation and the elasticity of the object, an energy is produced, which is called elastic energy. Now, when the object reverts back to its original shape, this elastic energy is released. We must note that elastic energy is a form of potential energy since it is stored in the object which is under stress. Speaking of the different forms of potential energy, there is another important topic left for today's session. Yes, we're talking about gravitational energy. Being related to the gravitational fields, gravitational energy is the potential energy possessed by a physical body having a certain mass with respect to another large body due to gravity. Well, with that, we conclude our session on types of energy. We discussed the two basic types of energy as well as many other forms of energy. We have separate videos in which we discussed topics like nuclear power in much more detail. If you're interested, consider checking out the videos on our channel. For future updates, subscribe to our channel and press the bell button. This is SkillLink, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.